Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote of the day is: if any Muslim plants any plant, and a human being or an animal eats of it, he will be rewarded as if he had given that much in charity. This is the quote by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My name is Dr. Aamna Khalid. I am PGR Community Medicine, and today I will present the topic of air temperature and its impact on public health. I will present this topic under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Saida Afzal, who is Dean Institute of Public Health, Lahore. Learning objectives for today's presentation will be global warming, what are the causes and threats. We will define heat and cold stress, identify determinants and indicators of heat stress, outline prevention of heat stress, describe different cold related conditions and their prevention, and then we will understand the public health importance of them, and then the practice of MCQs. First of all, we have heat stress. What is heat stress? The total heat load on the body that must be dissipated to maintain normal body temperature. If imbalance occurs between the heat gain, the environment plus metabolism, and the heat loss in the form of sweating, radiation, and convection, then the heat loss can occur. It can lead to a continuum from a mild discomfort to fatal heat stroke, and it is critically important in the countries like tropical countries like Pakistan. The key determinants of heat stress are the metabolic rate, which is the activity level, the environmental temperature, the air plus the radiant temperature heat, the humidity levels, air movement or ventilation, clothing type, it is permeable or not, the acclimatization status, and the hydration status. The key indicators of heat stress are first one is heat stress index, HSI, which combines the metabolic heat plus heat exchange, the conduction, convection, radiation, and evaporation. If the value comes out to be zero, then it means that there is no heat stress. If it is more than 30, it indicates severe heat stress, and if it is approximately 100, then this is the upper tolerance level, and this is used in mining, construction, and steel plants. And then the second one is equatorial comfort index, which is based on temperature of still and saturated air. It reflects perceived discomfort in tropical climates, and it guides the urban planning and housing ventilation policies. Third one is predicted 4-hour sweat rate, P4SR. This indicates that if the sweat rate is 2.5 liter, this is optimal, and if it is 4.5 liter, then this is the upper tolerance limit. This guides about the fluid replacement protocols and used in military and occupational health. Then we come to the effects of heat stress that has a wide range, starting from the prickly heat, which causes when sweat glands are blocked in the humid climates. Features include itchy rash and red papules. Management involves only the calamine lotion, cool environment, and starch baths. The second condition is sunburn, which is caused by the UV exposure, especially to the ultraviolet B rays, even via reflection. The features include redness, pain. Long-term features are skin cancer and premature aging. Management of sunburn includes cool compress, moisturizers, and avoid further exposure to the sun rays. Then the third condition is heat syncope. The causes include peripheral vasodilation plus blood pooling, and the features are fainting, especially while standing, and unacclimatized individuals. Management of heat syncope is the patient should lie down. We have to elevate his legs and rehydrate the person. Then the next condition is in the moderate condition, we have heat cramps, where sodium loss occurs through sweating, and painful muscle cramps occur. These are common in laborers and athletes, and this is the early warning sign. The management of heat cramps is we have to give the oral salt replacement and electrolytes. Then the severe condition is heat exhaustion, which involves both the water and salt depletion, leading to weakness, dizziness, nausea, and sweating. Temperature is less than 40 degrees centigrade, and it may progress to heat stroke. The management of heat exhaustion is fluids plus electrolytes both in the form of either oral or IV. Plus, we have to cool the patient. Then the critical condition is heat hyperpyrexia, when the temperature is more than 102 degree Fahrenheit and there is failure of thermoregulation. And extreme environmental exposure can lead to heat hyperpyrexia. The management involves emergency cooling like ice bath and rapid medical care and monitor the vitals. In the life-threatening condition is heat stroke, when the temperature is more than 104 and it may be up to 110 degree Fahrenheit. There is no sweating. Patient has delirium, coma, and seizures, uh, um, and it has high mortality level. The management of heat stroke involves ice water immersion, monitor the core temperature, treat hypovolemia, and rhabdomyolysis. The prevention of heat stress involves the first case is hydration. We have to hydrate the person. If he is doing heavy work, then he should use 1 liter of water per hour. And if he is in the sedentary state, then he has to take 0.5 liter per hour of water. Use ORS when needed and avoid caffeine and alcohol because they increase the dehydration. Then personal protection should be used like using light, loose, reflective clothing, protective gear like helmets and goggles, avoid dark colored clothing which absorb heat. The environmental control includes ventilation and air conditioning plus use of shade, work rest cycles, schedule heavy work in cool hours, heat shields, insulation of hot surfaces, this can all be done. Then we have behavioral measures, avoid the peak heat hours, early recognition of symptoms, community awareness, and worker education. Now we come to the core stress, which is hypothermia. This is the core body temperature drops below safe levels, leading to progressive systemic dysfunction. It can be mild when the temperature is more than 32 degrees centigrade but less than 37. Shivering, numbness, impaired coordination are the symptoms. Then in the moderate stage, the temperature ranges from 28 to 32 degrees centigrade, and the symptoms are muscle weakness, drowsiness, and confusion. Severe condition is when the temperature is below 28 degrees centigrade. There is loss of consciousness, coma, and cardiac arrest risk is there. We have to identify the high risk groups, which include elderly who have impaired thermoregulation, homeless individuals who are having prolonged exposure, malnourished individuals who have reduced metabolic heat, infants, and young children. Local cold injuries include immersion foot or trench foot. That occurs because of the prolonged exposure to cold and wet, and for example, 0 to 15 degrees centigrade. The pathophysiology of immersion foot is that there is persistent vasoconstriction leading to ischemia of the peripheral tissues, and prolonged cold and moisture compromise the circulation. The signs and symptoms are swelling, numbness, and pain of that area, uh, pale or mottled skin, tingling and burning sensations. Complications can include secondary infection risk and gangrene in severe or neglected cases. Prevention involves keeping the feet dry at all times and frequent changing of socks and proper waterproof footwear. Then the dry condition from local cold injuries is the frostbite. There are some stages of frostbite. Starting from the early stage, the symptoms are tingling, numbness, and pain. In the intermediate stage, there is red or violaceous, means blue to purple skin and loss of sensation. Then in the severe stage, the tissue necrosis can occur, and blistering and blackening of the tissue occurs. Management of frostbite is we have to rewarm the body part in water 40 to 40 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes and give analgesics. Rewarming is painful. That's why analgesics are important. There are some don'ts while managing the frostbite. Do not massage the affected area. Do not expose to direct fire, and do not refreeze after thawing, because it causes severe additional damage. Prevention of cold stress involves, first of all, the warm layered clothing. Layered clothing traps heat better than single thick layers. Protect the extremities by wearing gloves, insulated socks, caps. Use reflective or wind resistant outer layers. Then the nutrition and hot fluids. Adequate caloric intake supports metabolic heat generation. Hot fluids maintain the core temperature and avoid alcohol because it causes vasodilation and heat loss. Physical activity, regular movement generates body heat. Avoid prolonged inactivity in cold environments. Maintain circulation to extremities through movement. Then we have environmental precautions where we have to seek shelter from wind and precipitation, ensure heating in workplaces and homes, recognize early symptoms and act promptly. The public health significance, we have some key concerns and major occupational hazards in construction, agriculture, and industry occur due to the air temperature. Climate change is increasing frequency and severity of heat waves globally, increasing burden on healthcare systems during extreme weather events, need for national health heat action plans, and early warning systems. And we have already recognized the high risk groups. We have to focus on their care more promptly. And now we come to the global change, which is the climate change. The term global change involves a range of things, starting from global warming, which is the climate change, and then the environmental pollution at macro and micro level, the catastrophic ozone depletion, desertification, resource depletion, ecosystem changes leading to re-emergence of pathogens, biodiversity loss, and species extinction. All of these are part of global change. But today, in the second part of presentation, we have to focus on the global warming, which is climate change. The stratospheric ozone depletion, the substances which are depleting ozone include chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, halogens, methyl chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, methyl bromide. The health and environmental effects of these chemicals are the skin cancers, cataracts, increased global warming, increased solar radiation, and damage to phytoplankton. We will understand greenhouse effect. What is the mechanism of this effect? The greenhouse gases absorb outgoing infrared radiation and re-emit it, trapping the heat and causing the warming of Earth's surface. The greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, N2O, and tropospheric ozone, again chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and some other chemicals. The natural greenhouse effect maintains the habitat table temperatures on Earth, and the anthropogenic effects include enhanced warming from the human activities. The important thing is that long-lived greenhouse gases among all these are the carbon dioxide and N2O, which persist for centuries. Now, what are the carbon dioxide sources and what are their sinks? The sources are 90% fossil fuel burning and 10% from the land use change, for example, deforestation. The carbon sinks, which actually absorb the carbon dioxide and remove it from the environment, includes oceans, land biosphere, tropical forests, and phytoplankton. 55% of this carbon dioxide, which is emitted by different sources, is absorbed by the natural sinks, and 45% remains in the atmosphere. The balance between sources and skins is essential. Now, the thing is global warming. Increase in the mean global surface temperature due to enhanced greenhouse effect. We have seen in the past that the rise in the Earth's surface, yeah, global surface temperature is 0.85 degrees centigrade from 1880 till 2012. And this is expected to rise around 3 degrees centigrade by 2030 in around 4 years. And the important thing is that artificial reservoirs, like creating dams, produce more carbon dioxide, methane, and N2 gases, and they are not actually true carbon sinks. Means they cannot absorb carbon dioxide, but actually they are emitting more carbon dioxide. Now we come to the effects of global warming. It can lead to melting glaciers and sea level can rise. There is rise of 3 to 8.5 feet by 2100, and this is the predicted or expected rise in the sea level. Small islands are at risk, and if they are at risk, then the risk of environmental refugees also increases. The second thing is permafrost melting, which release the methane and ancient pathogens come back into the atmosphere. The third thing is increased rainfall and temperature, which can lead to more waterborne diseases like diarrhea, cholera, and more vector-borne diseases like dengue and malaria, and heat stresses are more seen. Then the fourth one is ecosystem disturbance, which affects the demography, health, agriculture, fisheries, industry, and urban planning, a range of things. The next we have the soil moisture changes, reduced crop yield leading to food insecurity globally. Then extreme climate events like cyclones, floods, droughts, heat waves, and increased displacement. Then we have we can see seasonal variations like altered winter or summer patterns affecting ecosystems and agriculture. Then the urban heat island effect. Cities are warmer than rural areas, which leads to severe heat waves. Then the last thing is GLOF. GLOF is glacial lake outburst floods, which is sudden drainage due to glacial dam failure. The next concept is ENSO. ENSO is El Nino Southern Oscillation. What is this? ENSO means El Nino Southern Oscillation is a periodic fluctuation in two things. The first one is sea surface temperature, SST, and the second one is atmospheric pressure, which is labeled as Southern Oscillation. So this occurs in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, affecting the global climate patterns. So, what is the public health importance of this ENSO cycle? This ENSO cycle has two components. I will discuss them in the next slide as well. The first one is El Nino, and the second one is La Nina. The El Nino component can cause more droughts, leading to malnutrition, the heat waves causing more heat strokes, and a vector shifts diseases can shift like dengue. The La Nina component can cause more floods, causing diarrheal diseases, more crop damage, leading to food insecurity, and more displacement, leading to mental health issues. So this is again the natural variability and the ENSO cycle. The El Nino is the warm phase where there is weak or reverse trade winds. The warm water shifts to the east. There is drought in the Australian and Indonesian areas, reduced Indian monsoon, and warmer global temperatures. The La Nina component, which is the core phase, is the strengthened trade winds and the heavy rainfall occur in the southern eastern Asia and Australia, and severe winters occur in South Asia and Middle East. Floods and drought extremes can occur. So this ENSO cycle occur every 3 to 5 years, and duration is 9 to 12 months, and it has major impact on the global weather patterns. So climate change in Pakistan, we have some statistics that Pakistan is on the eighth most affected country globally, and and there are different causes. For example, deforestation. Pakistan is on the second highest rate globally for leading to deforestation, and only around 5% of the forest cover is in Punjab. Flooding is the second cause. Frequent and severe flooding and can cause major economic and humanitarian impact. The heat waves and droughts, and increasingly intense and prolonged events of them. And the fourth thing is glacier melt and the sea level rise. It threatens the coastal and mountain communities. So for Pakistan climate change, we need to focus on the policy development. We have to develop the adaptation and mitigation policies, implement national and local action plans, the international funding. We have to secure the Green Climate Fund and global environmental facility resources. The RED programs, which is reduce emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. Then awareness and capacity, the campaigns, research and innovation, capacity building. Climate reporting involves national climate reports and carbon market participation. And then the disaster preparedness, we have to mobilize our resources for climate related emergencies. So this is again almost a repetition that there is a range of health impacts of the climate change, including undernutrition, vector-borne diseases, waterborne diseases, heat stress, air pollution, mental health issues, and the occupational hazards. These are the conclusions from today's presentation that global change is multifaceted, which encompasses warming, pollution, ozone depletion, biodiversity, and desertification. Although we all only focused on the global warming in today's presentation, the greenhouse effect is accelerating, means anthropogenic greenhouse gases are amplifying the natural warming at an unprecedented rate. Health impacts are severe and wide-ranging. Pakistan is especially vulnerable because it's the eighth most affected country, facing floods, heat waves, glacier melt, and desertification. Policy and action are essential. The Pakistan Climate Change Act 2017, we discussed it in the previous presentation of air pollution as well. The Paris Agreement and RED program, these provide a framework for mitigation. So this is the take-home message that the earth does not belong to us, we belong to the earth. So act now for a sustainable future. Now we come to the practice of MCQs. The first question is, a 28-year-old construction worker working in a peak summer heat suddenly collapses while standing. He regains consciousness quickly after being laid down. There is no fever or confusion. The most likely diagnosis is option A, heat stroke, B, heat exhaustion, C, heat syncope, D, heat cramps, and E, hyperpyrexia.
C.
Yes, C is the right answer. Question number 2, a factory worker complains of painful muscle cramps after several hours of heavy work in a hot environment. He has been sweating excessively but has only been drinking plain water. What is the most likely cause? Option A, dehydration only, B, sodium loss, C, potassium deficiency, D, protein breakdown, and E, calcium excess. Sodium loss is the
A.
right answer. Option B. Option B is the right answer because he has been taking only plain water, but still not settling. So it means electrolyte balance is also there. He is having heat cramps. Question number 3 is, during a heat wave, an elderly patient is brought to the emergency department with confusion, temperature of 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and dry hot skin. No sweating is observed. What is the most likely diagnosis? Option A, heat exhaustion, B, heat syncope, C, heat cramps, D, heat stroke, and E, hyperpyrexia.
D.
B.
D is the right answer, delta. Question number 4, a 35-year-old laborer presents with dizziness, nausea, weakness, and profuse sweating after working outdoors. His temperature is 38.5 degrees centigrade. What is the most likely diagnosis? Option A, heat exhaustion, B, heat stroke, C, heat syncope, D, hyperpyrexia, and E, sunburn.
D.
Option
C.
Option A is the right answer. Question number 5 is, a public health officer is assessing occupational risk in a mining site. Workers have a heat stress index of 0. What does this indicate? Option A is severe stress, B, moderate stress, C, upper limit of tolerance, D, no heat stress, and E, dangerous exposure. 0 means no heat stress. Question number 6 is, a mountaineer exposed to extreme cold presents with numbness, muscle weakness, and drowsiness, progressing to unconsciousness. What is the most likely diagnosis? Option A, frostbite, B, hypothermia, C, immersion foot, D, chilblains, and E, heat exhaustion. B is the right answer, hypothermia. Question number 7. A soldier standing in cold water for prolonged periods develops swollen, numb feet with pale skin. What is the most likely condition? Option A, frostbite, B, hypothermia, C, immersion foot, D, Raynaud's phenomena, and E, peripheral neuropathy. C is the right answer, immersion foot. Question number 8. A patient exposed to freezing temperatures develops tingling followed by numbness and a violaceous discoloration of fingers. What is the most likely diagnosis? Option A, hypothermia, B, immersion foot, C, frostbite, D, heat cramps, and E, vasculitis.
C.
Yes, C is the right answer. C is the right answer. This is frostbite. Question number 9. During a particular year, Indonesia experiences severe drought, while Peru reports heavy rainfall and flooding. Fisheries along the Peruvian coast decline due to reduced nutrient upwelling. Which of the following is the most likely explanation? Option A, La Nina, increasing upwelling. Option B, El Nino, reducing upwelling. C, neutral anso phase. D, strengthened Walker circulation. And E, increased polar vortex activity.
E.
This is actually B, the El Nino component, because they have mentioned drought. So this is a hint that the El Nino is the phase which is causing all of these things. Question number 10 is a 7-year-old child from rural Pakistan presents with acute diarrhea following severe flooding in his village. Meteorological reports show stronger than normal trade winds and unusually heavy rainfall in Southeast Asia during the same period. What is the most likely climatic phenomena responsible? Option A, El Nino, B, neutral phase, C, La Nina, and D, greenhouse effect, E, ozone depletion. Yes, option C, La Nina is the right answer because they have mentioned the flooding. This is the answer key to all of the questions. This is the YouTube channel of Institute of Public Health where this presentation will be uploaded. Thank you so much.